could be near to push 3 long-stalled trade pacts through Congress. Ron Kirk is the U.S. Trade Ambassador. He joins us now live from the White House. Welcome back to In Business, Mr. Ambassador. Do you expect approval before the end of July?
Margaret, we certainly hope so. We think we have an opportunity to help the president address what his #1 concern is, and that's helping to get this economy rejuvenated, and more particularly to add over 70,000 jobs by approving these trade agreements with Korea, Panama and Colombia, as the president noted yesterday, but also give some assurance to America's workers that we'll have a safety net by renewing the Trade Adjustment Assistance Program. We're going to have a markup before the Senate Finance Committee today. We hope to be able to be in a position to do the same with House Ways and Means next week. If we can keep a strong bipartisan support for all 4 elements, there's no reason we can't get these bills passed before Congress recesses in August.
Well, Mr. Ambassador, you were talking about that need to help support American workers. You say 70,000 jobs are going to be created by the passage of these potentially, but clearly you have concern that American jobs will be lost because you want to roll out that $400 million support program to help retrain workers. What's the number? I mean, what is it that you're looking at in terms of jobs lost?
Well, we believe, well, first of all, we don't have a number for job loss. With the $70,000 number, Margaret, as you know, is produced by the International Trade Commission. I think the federal government wisely separates those of us who negotiate and advocate from these deals versus the economic analysis that's provided by a different body. And those 70,000 jobs are just associated with the Korea trade agreement, and we believe that's net accretive. The issue of trade adjustment assistance is a commitment we've made to America's workers since 1962 and been a part of our overall trade program as an assurance to America's workers that we know some workers may be displaced because their jobs are lost out in a globally competitive environment. But it isn't just enough to say, what a tragedy. We think that reaching out and giving these workers the skills, the retraining, the tools they need to get back into the workforce is a smart way to begin to restore some of the confidence that Americans have lost in our trade policy. And I want to make it plain, from day one, the Obama administration recognized that America had to be involved in trade, but that we had to do it differently.
Right.
And while we are absolutely committed to these new agreements, we're equally committed to enforcing them so that we have a level playing field, but also keeping faith with America's workers.
Well, as we've been saying, the business community is behind you on this. However, Republicans there's a split there because there is concern of the cost of this trade assistance that you're talking about, this retraining, $400 million over 10 years' time. Republicans say you haven't proven that there's a need for that kind of spending right now. Show us how vulnerable the American worker will be, and maybe we'll consider it, is what Senator Hatch's office is saying.
I just don't think that's very strong logic. The reality is this trade adjustment assistance program has existed since 1992. We had the strongest bipartisan effort to improve the program in 2009. And one of the ways that we can build bipartisan support and frankly answer the fears of the American public is to have a robust trade adjustment package. If you look at the cost of it over 10 years, I think it's a small price to pay for getting Congress, particularly many Democrats, frankly, who don't want to approve any of these agreements, to allow us to go forward with 3 trade programs that will allow us to add over 70,000 jobs. So we think it's a smart, balanced approach. We hope that we'll be able to get a consensus among Democrats and Republicans to go forward. But frankly, the ball is now in the Republicans' hands. They have been asking the Obama administration to move these free trade agreements forward for 2 years. We were ready to move with Korea in December. We were ready to move with Colombia in March. We were ready to move with Panama. We've put them now in play. It's time for leadership. It's time for Congress to approve these as the president's submitted them so we can get moving forward.
Republicans say that why'd you pick such an antagonistic approach there? I mean, is the trade assistance the requirement for getting Democrats to support a slew of free trade agreements they've been concerned about in terms of, union opposition, et cetera?
Well, I mean, we don't see this. I mean, Margaret, I can't be more plain. We don't see this as antagonistic. Standing up and fighting for the rights of America's farmers and ranchers and manufacturers and their workers and families by enforcing our agreements and making sure that they have the safety net of trade adjustment assistance is just a smart thing to do. We don't see that as antagonistic at all. And frankly, I can't understand why the Republicans, as they've done in the past, won't go along and join us in approving this. This has been a part of our trade policy since 1962. It's time to approve this package with trade adjustment assistance so that we can move forward.
All right, Ambassador Kirk, thanks for coming on the show. Appreciate your time.